Yeah, so first thing people notice about me when I start opening my mouth is that I've got a bit of a posh accent. But I swear, hello, I swear I'm not posh. I swear I'm actually a little bit gangster. I'll show you, West Side. So yeah, that evidence speaks for itself, so be careful, be careful. A lot of people though, they, especially up north, they hear, oh, he's got a posh accent, he must be rich, he must come from a wealthy family. I know one guy once asked me, he goes, oh, Shaf, he did it in a northern accent, I'm not going to attempt it. I might. What, Shaf? Do you drive, mate? I was like, yeah, I passed my test. Cheers, thanks. Woo! Quite a big thing, yeah. 7 years ago now. Doesn't really matter. But he goes, oh yeah, what do you drive? I was like, 5-1 plate, Ford Focus, rock on. And he goes, oh, that's cool. Mummy and Daddy buy it for you, did they? And I was like, no. It's my granddad. No, I'm joking. I bought it myself. I had to get a loan for that. It actually financially crippled me for 3 years. So I thought, oh, be a student for another 4 then. It was good, pretty good practice actually, pretty good practice. And I had to get a loan to get this car, £3,000. Only cost 2,500, but I thought, cheeky little 500 quid for me, spend on my holidays. It's wonderful. But my hours then got cut at work, so I really struggled paying back this loan. And so what happened, just before I came to uni, I got a student overdraft from the same bank that I got the loan to buy the car. And so what I did with the student overdraft, paid off my loan. So I don't think they really liked me paying them back their money. Because a week later, I got a letter through saying, Shaf, it's not really an authorised overdraft. So I give it to me, and then a week later say, nah, I'll have the money back now. Rude. So what I ended up having to do for this, I had to pay back, like, I think it was about £1,500 straight away, like within 7 days. So I thought, oh, how am I going to get 1,500 quid? Got it. Sell my car. It was genius. So what I ended up doing is I sold the car to pay back the overdraft, which paid back the loan to buy the car. It was wonderful. It was a wonderful series of events. But I ended up selling it to my granddad anyway. But it wasn't my favourite car, the Ford Focus. My favourite car was the first one I owned, which my mum did buy for me. It was only £400. I say only. It's a lot of money now, but back then, nothing. Nothing. I was having a full-time job. It was wonderful. It was a Fiat Tipo, 1989. Year younger than me, if you're asking. So, a bit older. But it was a bit weird, this car, because it didn't come with a CD player. So I thought, I know what, I'm going to buy a CD player, but I'm not paying £80 an hour labour for someone to fit it for me. I'll have a go myself. Didn't turn out that great, because every time I left the car parked, just with nothing on, the battery would just drain down. And so I'd have to open the door, undo the bonnet, go in, connect the battery up. And if I was with mates, when I connected the battery, that's when the central locking kicked in. And I felt like a prison warden. I was like, you can go in now. It was wonderful. But I loved driving that car around. I loved driving it around. And one time I was driving it, and I was on my way to meet my girlfriend's parents for the first time. And I don't know about you, but if I get nervous or bored, but nervous mainly, I find the only thing I can take solace in is just annoying random people. Kind of like today, really, I suppose. But sorry. But I thought, I know what would be a brilliant idea. To take my mind off meeting Hazard's parents for the first time. I will make gestures at random passing cars. That's what I do. The gestures, I'm going to censor it for the younger viewers, but it was like this. It was like that. And it came with a face. It has to go with a face. You can't just gesture at someone. It's mental. So I thought, I don't have long to do anything. I wanted to show them that I was disgusted at some of their actions driving, so I wanted to be like... But at the same time, I wanted to show that I was angry with them. So I was like... So, because there's only time in that situation to put one face, I thought what I'll do is I'll combine the two. I was like... So I was going along, gesturing at strangers like this. And one guy took a bit of exception to it. Most people just look and like, whatever. This one guy was not happy at all, not happy in the slightest. And he started, you know, you can't hear them obviously, but he was sort of like, and I was like, he is not being nice. He is not being nice. And then what he did, and I never expected this in a million years, he wound his window down. I have no idea why this was in reach of him anyway, while he's driving the car. But what came out of that window, he basically threw an egg at my car. Which I thought was mental, and I thought, right, I'm putting my foot down, I'm getting away from this guy. It's madness. And whenever those situations happen, right, when you're driving, you sometimes have a bit of sort of banter with a random car, and one of you go away, and one of you knows you've got the upper hand. One of you knows you've lost that round, and I knew I'd lost that round. I thought I'll cut my losses and go. So I turned off on my way to Haz's parents, and this car turned off the same turning as me, and I thought, not that strange. A lot of people go to Lewis, Sussex, my hometown if you're asking. Wonderful, wonderful. So I thought it's not that I wasn't getting that sort of paranoid then, but then there was a smaller lane which leads to a village called Glide, and he followed me off there as well, and I was like, oh my word. I was like, bit nervous. And then I was going down the lane, there's only 4 houses down this lane, and it's followed me down there as well, and I was like, oh my word. He was wearing a tweed jacket, probably mid-50s-ish, and I thought he's the sort of person who goes out hunting, he's probably got a rifle. I convinced myself he's about to shoot me in the face. Anyway, I had never been to Haz's house before, and she was standing outside, so I knew which house it was. And she waved at me, and then she waved the car behind me, it was her dad. And I thought, oh no, not the best first impression. But luckily, Haz had told me he liked wine, so he got out and he was just like, oh, it was you then, was it? And I was like, yeah, sorry. Don't know what else you can say in that situation. She was like, yeah, sorry. And I think he was taking the mick a little bit. I think he was quite good-hearted about it. He goes, I don't think you're good enough for my daughter. First time I ever met her dad, and I was like, oh no. And to be honest, he was probably right. I think it's still true now, but I thought, oh, I don't want him to know that. Don't want him to know that. But then I pulled out my trump card. I said, I bought some red wine. He was like, come on in. Welcome. Which is wonderful. And then we were at dinner, because I went round their house for dinner for the first time, and her mum was cooking lasagna. Now, I don't know what it is exactly about lasagna, but it's the one meal I literally can't stand at all. It's like, you know when you go to a bar or something, you do some shots, say you do some tequila shots, and you're trying so hard not to make a cringy face. I was exactly the same. That's like me with lasagna. I was there and I was like, and I saw the moment her mum knew I didn't like it. I saw the moment, and I was just like, oh, this is awful. I've got her dad. If you've got your girlfriend's dad to throw an egg at you, and you're pretty much slagging off her mum's cooking, you've not made a good first impression. And then 2 weeks later, we were doing ASs, and I'd made Harriet late for her exam, which was not a good idea either, because her parents then I knew they hated me, and my excuse wasn't brilliant either, because they were like, well, why were you running late? And I was like, well, we were on time when we left. Then I stopped at Jack and Jill's Bakery, got an iced apple donut, 42p. They were pretty tasty, but I think I've won them round now. What I did to win them round, like it wasn't when I gave Haz CPR and saved her life, because I thought that was quite good. But it was when I bought her mum a Freeview box, because down south, I don't know if you know, down south, on normal analogue telly, you don't get channel 5. You get channel 1, 2, 3 and 4. But you don't get channel 5 because it might interfere with French radio. And I'm like, wait a minute, hang on France. We saved you in World War II, not the other way around. Britannia rules the radio waves, let us watch it. But no, nothing. And so basically I got her a Freeview box, because BBC, it was on BBC One, Neighbours. It was all about Neighbours. It was on BBC One. We went to Channel 5. And I thought, I'm going to get her mum a Freeview box so she can watch Neighbours. Oh, that's it. Even now, that was about 7 years ago, even now she goes, you know what? That was the best present I've ever got. It was so thoughtful. I won them round, and I thought, yeah, okay. I thought, surely it should be when I saved her daughter's life. I think saving my daughter's life, Shaf, okay, but Madge Bishop. And I'm done. Cheers.